My name is Cory Robin. I'm running for Ward 5 here in Timmins. And when I started running my campaign, I thought, I'm going to be the most accessible candidate you have ever seen. So I put a banner on the front of a table, talked to the Aboriginal Day Committee, got myself a booth, and stood there for 2 solid days in that sun without a canopy, getting a nice suntan on my dome to meet people and tell people that there's an Aboriginal candidate running. My name is Cory. I'm going to get my name out there. And that's what started the process of meeting and greeting probably thousands of people in the last 3 months. So I've been, anytime an event would allow me to sit there and put up a table and put my banner, I would definitely do that. And it's not necessarily about engaging everybody, because not everybody wants to talk to me. Not everybody wants to tell me their views and everything else, but some people do. But some people are remembering the fact that I'm accessible and I'm accountable. So when I started off with certain positions that I had about Stars and Thunder or about spending, they've changed and evolved as I've listened to people. And one of the biggest fears is that I'm not listening enough, or there's too many different opinions that conflict. And it's my job really to try and figure out a best solution that makes the most impact. Not everybody's going to be happy with everything I have to say, and I understand that. And I'm not trying to make everybody happy, which is why I feel it's just best for me to honestly answer the questions as they're presented, give my honest views, speak openly, speak honestly. I want to do what's best for the community. I want to do what's best for my kids. I want to do what's best for my parents who still live here. To solve the finance problem, we need to grow our population, and there needs to be a reason why people will come here. Yeah, we can have great wages, but a doctor can have great wages anywhere. But where do they want to raise a family? A technological engineer can get great wages anywhere. But why come to Timmins to raise a family? And that's what we're competing against. We're competing against all these cities across our country who are looking for people. Why Timmins? When I talk about supporting our community, I mean finding real homelessness solutions. When I sat down a couple days ago, I mean like a month and a half ago, a child comes up to me and we're giving them food. And that's when it really sunk into me, that there are kids in our community that don't have enough food. What kind of city are we when there's kids who don't eat enough? I know people blame it on socioeconomical problems, blame the parents, blah, 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 but a 5-year-old should not be punished with an empty stomach for the sins of the father. The community at large needs to be able to say, look, we should not stand for starving kids. So that's what I mean by supporting our community. I don't mean exhaustive, multi-million-dollar solutions. I mean the simple nuts and bolts of things that you and I can affect. It should come as no surprise to anyone that there's only so much gold in the ground, and eventually the gold will run out, and eventually all those jobs will go, and we will become another mining ghost town. And we need to solve that problem or work to diversify long before that happens. Because I want to live here a long time. And the mines are over 100 years old. They have a lifetime. We have to fix that. And we have to plan for our future. The role of City Council would be to guide the city to create an environment for people to want to live here. And when people move here, they build houses, and houses pay taxes, and taxes fund our city. It's that cycle. So this is a crappy place to live because we're sitting there with a council that it resists change and wants to roll back and say, like, we want it to be like it was a few years ago. Well, that's no good. My son, in 12 years, will have to decide where he wants to spend the rest of his life, or a portion of his life, to raise a family. And I want him to raise it here. I want my grandkids here. I want to retire here. I don't want to plan for retirement in another community. I don't want to pack up and leave when I turn 65 to Matheson. I want to stay here. So those decisions need to start now. So my role on council is, I want to be the MVP, most valuable player, because there are many expertise on your council. I work for NADF. I run Northern Ontario's largest business grant for Aboriginal peoples, the Aboriginal Business Financing Program. It's a $1 million equity program that I use strategically to grow business throughout all of our communities all over Northern Ontario. I look at a lot of financial statements, I look at a lot of market statements, I deal with a lot of consultants, there's a lot of good ideas, there's a lot of ingenuity in our city. Being a part of the Aboriginal community, having Aboriginal family members, and my grandmother's comes from the coast, I know firsthand these aren't new things for me. I know what it's like to deal with someone who's living on the street because the history that we have. I've experienced and I've seen them, but I'm not an expert. So I don't have the expert solutions. What I'm an expert in is figuring out how to make sustainable financial progress towards those solutions. So when you have someone who has a grand social plan to figure things out, you need to have a coherent budget, you need to have a coherent cost-benefit analysis, and you need to have a good business case to be able to come to City Council and say, look, we want to do this and this and this, and it's going to have this effect. Well, if you want to do this and this and accomplish this and that, you need money. So when I talk about financial responsibility, realigning our finances, my financial training allows me to create the budgets, allows me to critique the financial asks, to make a sustainable solution, and ask those questions. So the last thing I want to see is a social program come to City Council with a goal so lofty that it's unreasonable, and then have that cohort be discouraged and say that the city can't do anything. No, come sit down. Let's talk about what we can do. Let's talk about the exact costs and create a plan we can all agree on. Because I want to do something about the social issues in our city. I want to do something about the homeless, but I also know how much it costs. And because of my background, because of my involvement with the Aboriginal community, because of the work that I do every day of looking at and applying finances in a responsible, sustainable manner, I can do that on council. I would love to work in a coherent council where there is a variety of people there, so that we can create cohesiveness and say, like, look, this is the city. This is what we want to do. This is our board of directors, so to speak. These are our qualifications. This is what we want. And I hope we can move forward on it. One of the reasons why I decided to run, I think the last reason, the one that said, Cory, you have to run, was that human rights announcement that there's systemic racism in Timmins. And systemic racism means that there are systems in place that are racist, like bylaws being racist. And there's nothing from the city that's racist. There is normalized racism for sure. And I know of several institutions within the city that are inherently racist. I also know of several institutions in the city that have gone above and beyond to eradicate racism in their organization. The Northern College is a great example of how they're tackling that, how they're trying to change perspective. They welcome students from the coast and give them a bit of cultural sensitivity training. Just give them the opportunity to adjust to our lifestyle, as opposed to saying, there is no difference, there's nothing, just come down to whatever. The you'll be fine attitude no longer exists there. The last step of me running was that systemic racism comment. I wanted to show Timmins that Aboriginal community and Aboriginal people are in a position now that we're comfortable to run, that we're comfortable to say, like, look, I can walk down the street with my head held high knowing that I'm an Aboriginal person and not worry, because I really don't. And I think it's time that we have full representation on council, and that includes an Indigenous component. But I'm cautious to say, don't vote for me just because I'm Indigenous. Vote for me because you agree with me. And that's really what's important. I'm not the Indigenous candidate. I'm the candidate who's also Indigenous. I have been asked that virtually every day. What is my position on Stars and Thunder? Even before, when I was just talking with friends and family, what is my position on Stars and Thunder? Well, I think back a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 or 5. I was pushing a stroller, so it's not that long ago. My son's not that old. We were on Facebook trying to figure out if there were fireworks that year. Where's the fireworks? We kept saying. Is there fireworks? Is it at Pearl Lake or is that Yuli's Lake? Where's the fireworks? Where's the fireworks? The Canada Day celebration in Timmins was so dysfunctional that we couldn't figure out how to use fireworks. And then, of course, a few years later, we're voting on a $5 million 8-day extravaganza. Now, I love the idea of putting your name out there. I love the idea of just getting out there and trying something new and being adventurous. But once you try that and you see the effects of that and see how it turns out and see the loss and everything else, you have to adjust it. So I am absolutely positive that there is something between the nothing of a few years ago and the $6 million spending of last year. I am positive that there is something in between there that we can agree on. 4 days, change the name from Stars and Thunder to just a Canada Day celebration that we can all take part in. And I look forward to working with council to put forth a recommendation of something that we can agree on. Because I know for a fact we're not going to have an 8-day Stars and Thunder. I know that it's not going to be a $5 million extravaganza. And I want to do my absolute best to keep it from dividing our community between the haves and the have-nots. Because truth be told, I'm a middle-class kind of guy. I have a young family. I could not afford to go to anything for Stars and Thunder for either year. And that's just a fact of my life. And I'm okay with that. But I don't think the city should have been that divided. I'm sure there's something we can do that's better than that. I've been here a long time. My whole life. Not as long as others, but my whole life. And that's the constant talk. Every political season, we're talking about spending, we're talking about high taxes, we're talking about crumbling roads. That's always going to be a thing. If you're driving a 20-year-old truck down the road and it breaks down, you are not allowed to be surprised. It's 20 years old, it's at the end of its life, it should have been replaced. Much like much of the road work here, we have crumbling sewers and crumbling water mains. Those should not be surprises because they're 100 years old. They should be planned for. So there's an asset management plan that identifies all this stuff. We need to not borrow from it. And we're borrowing from our future when we do that. So instead of raising taxes 20 or 30 years ago, they borrowed from the infrastructure fund. Or they borrowed from the different departments inside to just try and keep everything stable. And that's under the assumption that population goes up. And when population goes up, taxes increase. And when taxes increase, we have money to spend on all these things. But population never went up. So we borrowed from our future under the expectation that we were going to have 3 or 4 or 5% cumulative compounding population growth with a forecast that by 2020 or 2010 that we would be at 60 or 70,000 people. That never happened. So the decisions of councils and mayors long past didn't come to fruition. And we're paying for that now. I remember growing up as a teenager hearing those radio ads saying that, you know, you got to take care of these things, we've got to stop passing them on to our children. Well, when I was a kid, hearing that on the radio, I was wondering, well, they're going to fix that by the time I'm an adult. They're going to fix that by the time I'm done college. They're going to work on that. Well, truth be told, I'm almost 40, and nothing's really been fixed about it. It's some progress, but it's never really been solved in a really coherent, sustainable manner. We have some hard choices to make. We have to take some time and look at what's actually happening and try to find ways to entice families to come here and plunk down. And this is not something we're going to be able to do in 4 years. This is a 12-year plan. Like I was saying earlier, in order to create a city that I want my son to raise a family in, I hope that the city my son will raise a family in is the same city that your kids will raise a family in, or your parents will stay here and keep that tax revenue going so we can do all these things. Because right now, in the short term, we're going nowhere. So when we're talking about savings and spending and tax revenue and everything else, our problems will be solved with a comprehensive way to entice people to come here. Because for every new taxpayer that comes in here, it's more money. and it's less of a percentage we all have to pay. So we have cottagers at the end of kilometer-long roads to service 1 or 2 people. In my mind, that's like a shared driveway. And if we're going to start plowing people's driveways, I would like mine plowed too. And it's about cost-benefit analysis. So how much money does it actually cost to plow the 3 clicks to your house? Versus how much money does it cost to plow my street? Versus how much tax revenue that street has? Versus how much yours has? So cost-benefit. How much are we spending for how much benefit? And if you're going to live in the city of Timmins, and you want to live so far away that you don't want to be part of the city, but you want to be part of the city anyway, then the tax rate applies. And you've chosen to live out there. So your isolation comes with a cost. You are being away from the hustle and bustle and the people and everything else comes at a premium. You may have paid less for your cottage or house way out of town than I did downtown. But that's what that benefit is. That's the choice you've made. And not a popular choice. And I think that they should either remove it for everyone and only plow on the roads that have the most residents on it, where it makes a cost-benefit analysis sense, makes sense from that perspective, or do it for everyone and show everyone how much of a tax problem that'll be. If we start plowing roads, every road up to MPO standards, it's ridiculous. Offer some other incentive, arrangement, something else, and say, yeah, we'll plow it, because no, it's too expensive, take it, find something else. I have heard of other situations, other suggestions of how to do that, and I would love for people to pick up the phone and give me a call, or message me, or send me a message and say, like, look, this is what I'd rather see, but to send a city plow, or a city contract plow, down to 3 clicks to plow your driveway, in essence, well, no. That's where the shift is slowly changing, and we need to encourage that, to make it so that, you know, we can have more businesses downtown, catered to special niche markets, professional services, to be the place to come downtown, to take care of yourself, to do your stuff. There is no longer a shopping district here unless you're here for a specific niche store, like Mikasa across the street. That is not a department clothing store. That's a nice store with nice product in it, and it deserves your patronage. But it's not Walmart. You have other stores downtown that are niche. They occupy a specific market function. They serve a specific market. People seek them out and come down here. Why? Because they're not Walmart. They're not a chain store. They're not the stores in the square. They're the stores downtown. So when you're talking retail establishments have to be specific and have a draw downtown. When you come downtown, you should feel safe downtown. That's where we're entering the social issues. We have a homelessness problem downtown. Now, they're not all homeless. We have a panhandling issue downtown that can be solved by several different things, and we were talking earlier about that cohesive social solution backed by strong financial guidance to create a sustainable budget to be able to fund these things. There are businesses downtown that are willing to create and contribute. And I can't solve all these problems for you, and I can't go up there and have an answer for everything. But I am willing to take your solution. I am willing to take what you have to say. We'll have a discussion. I'll make it my own. I'll come forward with a committee and say, this is what the downtown wants. Let's do that. I want to be clear that the reason why I'm running is not to change the entire universe. It's not all bad. The city's been doing mostly good, many good things. They just can be done better. And with the inclusion of an Aboriginal member who has financial experience and financial training, social experience, I think we can do better in next term than we did last term and continue to march forward. The city of Timmins is going to elect a variety of people with different views and different backgrounds. For me, I am the collaborative guy. I want to find a solution that addresses your issue, but also is financially sustainable. I want to be that MVP on council that can take your suggestion and say, like, look, the medium in there is this. Can we agree on something? And if everyone is so far apart in all their different corners, we can't get anything done, then what's the point? Algonquin has never been redone in my lifetime. Is it unreasonable for me to ask for it to be redone in my lifetime? Could we not make a plan to solve the biggest road in our city, the one that everybody complains about? Can we not create a responsible, cohesive, attainable, achievable plan? Before I'm 80? That's 40 years from now. I've never seen it redone. I'd like to see it done. That, and if that's something we can have a conversation about, that'd be great, because it shows progress. So why not? I'm a family man, I'm Aboriginal, financial training, with experience. I can conduct myself, I speak coherently, passionately. I'm in this all the way. And on council, I'm going to be that voice that advocates for cohesiveness, for cooperation, for a future, for the city to move forward, to be a bigger, better place 4 years from now than it is today, with a plan to go 8 years from now, 12 years from now, because the city of Timmins is a long, vibrant future and a long history at the same time. And I want to be part of guiding that future to a bigger city, to a wealthier city. Work on our debt load. Work on our social issues. Stop breaking my heart with kids who don't have enough food in their belly. That's what I want to do. And I want to work with the citizens to address the issues that you bring up. Use your solutions, and I need the citizens' help to do that.